Welcome back, and we are still discussing sets. Let's move on to the difference between two sets. And let's suppose we have the same two sets as before. The first set contains all of the elements between 0 and 9, and the second set contains the elements 2, 3, 4, 5, and 14. So we added 14 here. Now let's suppose I want to compute the difference between set1 and s2. I can simply use the method in difference. In this case, let me create s3 and use s1 dot difference of s2 and print s3. And in this case, we are going to get 0, 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So notice we have here 14, but it is not showing up in the set S3. So what did we do here? First of all, we took the set S1 and compare all of the elements inside this set with the set S2. So we start with the element 0. In this case, we try to find the element 0 in S2. We did not find it, so we store it in S3. So this is a difference between S1 and S2. Same thing for element 1, we store it here. However, we have 2, 3, 4, and 5, so we are not going to put them since they exist in both sets S1 and S2. Now we jump to 6, 7, 8, and 9, and they do not exist in set 2. In this case, we are going to place them in set 3. However, this number 14 is not in the difference set because we are comparing the elements in set 1 to elements in set 2 and not vice versa. So we are not comparing the elements here with the elements in set 1. Now, let's suppose I want to know the difference between S2 and S1. I will simply use S2, the difference of S1, and not like this. So instead of typing S1 dot difference, type S2 dot difference and difference of S1. Let's run. We are going to get the number 14. And in this case, what did we do? We searched for number 2 in set 1. We found it, so we don't put anything. And the same thing, 3, 4, and 5, they are already in set 1. So as we can see here, 3, 4, and 5. So we ignore them. And finally, we reach the number 14. And the number 14 is not in set S1. And in this case, we add it to the difference. So set 3 will only be of one element, that is the number 14. Now let's suppose I want to clear these sets. What do I do? So the method clear, we use this method a lot of times in the list, in dictionary, in everything. So for example, if I want to clear all these sets, I can use clear for S1, S2 dot clear, and finally S3 dot clear. If I print them out one more time, S1, S2, and S3, let's run, we are going to get an empty set, and this is how Python indicates that this is an empty set. It will give you set with no parameters inside the parentheses. So this is how we can delete all of the elements at once in a single set. Now let's suppose I have two sets and I want to know if they have anything in common or not. And in this case, I can use the is disjoint method, and this will give me the boolean indicating that true or false. So if set 4, for example, is set, and if set 1 and set 2 have nothing in common, it will print true. So for example, as you can see here, we have two sets, S1 and S2, and in this case, we can clearly see that they have 2, 3, 4, and 5 as common elements. And in this case, let me delete these and create this boolean. So I simply print out S1 dot is disjoint of S2. In this case, since they have common elements, it will print false. However, let's suppose we have two different sets, and in this case, S2 will start at 10 and finish at 15. And as we can see now, they are different. And in this case, S2 contains the element 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Even if we add it one more time, as you can see here, we add the number 14, it will not be showing up in the set since we already have this number here. And there are two different sets that have no common elements. In this case, if we use the isDisjoint method, we will get true, indicating that yes, set1 and set2 have nothing in common. Now let's go back to our previous range, so between 2 and 6, and let's see if set2 is a subset of set1. In this case, I can simply use the method subset. So S2 is subset of S1, and if I run this, I'm going to get false since I have 2, 3, 4, and 5, and all of these elements are in set 1. However, this number 14 is not in set 1. So if I remove this line and print it out one more time, so we can clearly see that all of the elements in set 2 are in set 1. In this case, we are going to get true since set 2 can be considered as a subset of set 1. Now, if I convert this S1 that is subset of S2, we can clearly see that we have more elements here, and it is not possible to have this set to be a subset of a smaller set. In this case, we are going to get false. We can do the same exact thing using the this operator. So instead of typing dot is subset, I can simply use is less than S2. In this case, I'm going to get false. However, if S1 is bigger than S2, and this means that S1 is upper set considered to S2, and we are going to get true. Moving on to removing items or elements from a set, and let's suppose I have this set 1 that contains all of the elements from 0 to 9, and I want to remove the element 0. I can simply use the discard method. In this case, s1.discard 0 and print out s1, run. We are going to get 1, 2, 3 up until 9, ignoring the number 0. However, let's suppose I added here some argument of a number 10, and this number doesn't exist in set 1. Let's run this. As you can see here, we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So as you can see, it doesn't remove any element from the set. However, if we also have the method remove. And in this case, if I attempt to remove the element or the item 0, I'm going to get a set that does not include the element 0. However, if I try to remove the element 10, for example, I am going to get an error. And remember that when we used the discard method with argument 10, we did not get an error, we just got the set itself. However, if I use this method, remove, we are going to get a key error, and it is at line 6. As we can see, it is because of the remove method. Now let's do an example on sets. So let's suppose I have 3 lists and I wanna know the common elements in these lists. And for example, I have the list L1, it will be equal to some numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. L2 will contain also some numbers 1, 5, 8, 0. And finally, list 3 will contain 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, and 9. And in this case, let's check for the intersection, first of all, between list 1 and list 2. So the first thing we are going to do is to put them in sets. So set 1 will be equal to set of list 1, set 2, set of list 2, and finally set 3 will be equal to set of list 3. In this case, let's compute the intersection between the first two sets S1 and S2. So enter, I will name it enter, will be equal to S1 dot intersection of S2. Then we will compute the intersection between S3 and this intersection we just computed here. So to do that, final intersection, I name it, equal to enter dot intersection of S3. If I go ahead and print the final intersection now, as we can see, we are going to get 1. So the element 1 is the only element, or the number 1 is the only number in these three lists. And if we just check, so we have here 1, 1, 1, and here we have 2, 2. However, this 2 doesn't exist in list 2, and so on. We can only find, for example, 3 it exists here and here, 8 exists here and here, and so on. Now, to make it clearer, I will just print also the enter, print enter, run. We're going to get 1 and 5. So when we computed the intersection between S1 and S2, we got just the numbers 1 and 5, and we can clearly see that 1 and 5 are the only common elements between list 1 and list 2. Here we have 8 and 0, and they're not included in list 1. And after that, we computed the intersection between our result 1 and 5 with list 3, and in this case, only the number 1 is in list 3. So as we can see, 5 is not included in list 3, and this is why we just got the element 1. Now let's do another example on set, and in this case, we are going to create a code that gives us the number of vowels in a string. So first of all, let's ask the user to enter a string. So the string will be stored in st. In this case, we are going to ask enter a string, and then we are storing it in st. Now to check the vowels, we need to create a set of vowels. How do we do that? We simply name our set vowel, and in this case I will create a set. Inside this parameter I will add some vowels in a string, so A, E, I, O, U, and the capital A, E, I, O, U. And now that we have our string st and our vowel set, I can go and create our for loop. So we're going to pass through every character in the string. So I'll name it for C in our st string. In this case, we are going to check if this letter C is in the vowel set. So if it is in vowel, I will increment the count. So I am going to create a count outside. Then I will increment it here to be equal to count plus 1. Then after that, I am going to print out the number of vowels. So the number of vowels will be, and it is the count itself. Let's run this. So we're asking enter a string. So for example, I will type hello world. In this case, I am going to get number of vowels is 3. So as you can see here, we have E, O, and O. And let me run this one more time, and I'll just enter 3 A's. I'm going to get the number of vowels is 3. However, if I enter something that does not contain vowels and I press enter, we are going to get the number of vowels is 0. So this is it for sets, and they are very useful when it comes to removing duplicates, as you can see. And with that being said, this is the end of this video. See you in the next one.